Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making swamp cookies. If you've never heard of swamp cookies, they're similar to a kitchen sink cookie, but different in that it has a blend of salty and sweet. I'm going to show you the salty at the end, so hang on, you're really going to be surprised with this. I'm starting with one of my favorite things, and that's a packaged cookie mix. This is an oatmeal chocolate chip, and I'm using the mix simply because it's a time saver and I don't have to pull out everything in the pantry. The oatmeal in this give it a chewy texture and, dare I say, fiber alert. If you don't want the oatmeal in the cookies, then just get the packaged chocolate chip cookies. That's perfect. Now, I'm just gonna mix this around just a little bit, and next I'm adding my butter. I've got a stick of butter. You can use salted or regular butter. It really doesn't matter. So what you have on hand, use. Now this has been sitting out on the counter for a little bit. That way it's nice and soft. And make sure you hang on to the wrapper because we're going to use that here in a few minutes. Now, let's talk about the rest of the sweet ingredients. I've got some coconut. This is some shredded sweetened coconut, and that's going right in. I've got a half of a cup of dried cranberries. You could also use raisins, whatever you like, but I do like the cranberries because it has just that little bit of tartness. Listen, you've got all kinds of flavors going on in these cookies. And next, I've got some semi-sweet chocolate chips. You could go with dark, you could go with milk, you could go with whatever floats your boat. And next, I'm adding chopped pecans and a half a cup of just about everything goes in here. And I love this nut chopper. Y'all, this is the bomb. I'll post the link in the comments. Now, what I'm going to do for now is just cover these ingredients with the cookie mix. This is going to ensure that everything doesn't sink to the bottom of the cookie. Now, I have my mixer here and my paddle attachment. Now, before I add my next ingredient, which is the egg, I'm going to mix this on low speed for about a minute or two, just until it all comes together. See how all of the dry ingredients have merged with that butter? You just want to make sure that all of it blends together. Next, I'm adding one egg. There's no water, no liquid in this recipe except for the egg. So you want to make sure that it's extra large. Now I'm putting this back on the stand, and I'm going to mix this again at low speed just until it comes together. Look at this, it's perfect. See how it all just merged together, and that way when you start making your balls for your cookie, it's all gonna hold together. Now we still have one more ingredient, but before I add that, I want to go ahead and prepare my baking sheet. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees. And I've lined a baking sheet with parchment paper, and I'm gonna take this butter and I'm gonna add more flavor. Listen, if you wanna add a little bit more butter, then go right ahead. I'm a firm believer that butter makes everything better. There we go. Pan is prepared, and next we've got the salty ingredients. And I have some potato chips. Y'all, these potato chips in with these cookies are out of this world. They're absolutely delicious. You have got to try it. Now, this is where you want to use a strong potato chip. You don't want the little tiny thin and crispy ones. You want the wavy ones, or you could even go with the kettle chip. You want that chip to be able to stand up to the mixing and the baking. I'm adding, let's say, about a half to 2/3 cup in these cookies, so that should be about right. If you want to add more, then by all means add more. And I'm just going to take my hand and I'm going to crush these. This is where you can get the kids involved. Actually, you can get them involved through the whole process. But this is especially fun. You don't want to break them up too fine. You want to have some texture to it. Look at that. These are perfect. Now let's start forming the cookies. I've got my cookie or my ice cream scooper, and these are pretty large cookies. And I'm just going to tighten them just a little bit, and then top and bottom in the potato chips and onto your greased pan. Now you want to pat these out just a little bit, either with your hands or you can take a spatula and press down, because you want them to all cook basically the same. This is going to give it a little bit of head start. Now give them a little space in between, because these are going to spread. All right, 9 is all that's going on this cookie sheet. I don't want to overcrowd my pan. I still have really about 6 more cookies to make, so this is definitely going to make more than a dozen. Now again, my oven is preheated to 350, and these are going to cook for about 15 to 17 minutes. You just want them to be nice and lightly golden brown on top. The cookies are finished, and there might be 1 or 2 missing. This made 15 cookies, but when the first batch came out of the oven, I had to taste one. Then Jimmy came home from work and another one was gone. So this is what we have left, and I have to say that they are delicious. Let me just show you one of these. I've been letting them cool on a cookie rack, and look at this. Oh, they're just perfect. They're soft on the inside. And crispy on the outside. They're chewy, they're crispy, they're salty and sweet. They are absolutely delicious. And listen, there's no rule of thumb with the ingredients, no hard and fast rule. You can substitute anything you want for the ingredients, but promise me that you will give these a try. The potato chips really put them over the top. Well, the full recipe is in the description. Don't forget, check the links in the comments. Y'all, I can't wait to finish cookie number 2. You're a blessing. I'll see you next time.